Action4Asia is cycling 15,000 kilometres from Singapore to Mumbai to raise money for the water and sanitation charity Aquabox. Now Aquabox send these water filtration units to places like the Philippines and Syria. Now the water's coming up through the aqua filter and through these micropores and cleaning the water, so there's no need for chlorine or iodine tablets. Cheers! It's day 14 and we've so far travelled a total distance of 20 miles. So we're hoping to pick up the pace as we move on throughout this expedition. One of the big holdups is that we're trying to buy a support vehicle at the moment, and hopefully within the next couple of days it'll be sorted and we'll be up and running, ready to go. First time driving the support vehicle at the moment.
I'm just trying to look pretty cool.
Paul's doing a good job.
I'm out the window.
I've got the car wash. We're in Kuala Lumpur and already the engine's overheated.
Not Kuala Lumpur, Batu Cave.
We're in Batu Cave.
Yeah, Batu Cave.
Okay, we're in Batu Cave. We're about 60k now from Kuala Lumpur. I'm really looking forward to having the first shower in about 5 days. Like this 30-degree heat and the high humidity. Really, you know, it starts to smell after a while. Oh, there's a goat! Look at the goat! Look, there's a goat! So, looking forward to the shower. Look forward to seeing to KL. Our first rest day. Good times.
I think we'll make it, as long as we can ride that far. Yeah, we're not really ready for this, I suppose.
Just realised that I've not got any toilet paper with me.
Dave, did you bring any tissues with you?
It's about 6 o'clock in the morning now. I have this dog barking at us all night. When we first started cycling from Singapore into Johor, 6 lanes of traffic, and then as soon as we got through the first checkpoint on the Singapore side, they kind of all filed into a single lane. So there's me and Dave on our bikes, trying to keep pace with about 400 motorbikes flying past us. That's quite fun. Yeah. There's no real highway code here. We saw people driving down the wrong side of the road today, and we're in Malaysia, so it's going to get probably a lot more difficult.
Remix from Action4Asia.
180 kilometers something later.
Yeah, we're here today in this Indian cultural centre and they're giving us this sticky rice, which is awesome, and they've just got all these cows lined up because they're all celebrating the cows and what the cows provide them and everything, and they've got songs and dances. It's incredible, man. Free food as well. Oh, good. Good, man.
The Asian food over here is like fantastic. We're having a lot better time than AJ is. She's struggling quite a lot with her allergies at the moment.
Not so sweet green tea.
I love the spices, love the Indian food, not too much the local food right now. I think on this expedition the hardest thing is going to be once we get into kind of language barriers. But obviously when we get into the more rural areas, it's going to be a lot harder to communicate.
Hello, man! How are you? Hello! We just arrived in Kuala Lumpur, and last night we interviewed this traditional Malaysian band. And after interviewing them, they just kindly invited us to go to this traditional Malaysian wedding. So we're really looking forward to this, feel highly privileged, feel really honoured to go to this. We're going to a Malaysian wedding! Woo! Kathy's joined us and she'll be staying with us for about 2 to 3 weeks, cycling through a bit of Thailand, Cambodia and a little bit of Vietnam. So it's good to see Kathy on the team, boosted morale, good to see a fresh face.
Today's been one of those days which you just wish would never happen really. Woke up to news this morning that Kathy and AJ have been in a bus crash. The bus they've been on had come off the road because their driver fell asleep.
After
after I hit the ground, my arm was under the bus roof and the ground. And I remember screaming because it was hurting my hand, no, my arm I mean, and I thought I was gonna be stuck under there. Well, AJ told me like, Catherine, my head is bleeding, and I was like, oh yeah, okay. And then some locals came and helped her to get to a local doctor. So I was left alone there with a big bump in my head and shaking, and I didn't know anyone, I didn't have a phone.
I think the cycling is going to be very tough on this expedition. I mean, no doubt cycling 9,000 miles from Singapore to Mumbai is definitely going to be very hard. I think one of the hardest things on this expedition is going to be finding food for AJ. I mean, she's not allergic to much. It's just onions and gluten and milk and all dairy products and soy sauce and chili sauce. In fact, pretty much all sauces I've found so far I think she's allergic to.
Bottom jaw.
Is this actually a fish? Wow. It's just empty. Oh. And it's been a challenge in many ways.
We cannot cross the border with the car. We have to pack everything we need for Cambodia and for Vietnam for the next, is it next month? Yeah, the next 40 days. The next 40 days.
I just can't believe it, right? Just went down to security guard, and then the customs dude was just like, you can't go entry in a Cambodian vehicle. So now we basically have 2 people on bicycles and 2 people with no form of transport. But a positive is that English is quite good, because they could tell me no quite well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna pack our stuff. Oh shit. Let's do this, Paul.
Pedro served us well. I mean, he tries to break down every 50 kilometers, but we just love him even more for that.
The car's just broken down. I think the battery's gone.
We miss you, Pedro. But we've got the bikes fully loaded with all the equipment. So yeah, we'll carry on as planned through Cambodia into Vietnam.
I think everything that happens to you in life, you just have to look back at it as something that made you stronger, something you can learn from.
It's been an experience, it's been an adventure.